And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thomson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Big Josh Thomson, baby. Let's go.
How big can you be, baby? That's right. It is Big Josh Thomson over there. Look at him. He's trying to stretch that neck out. It used to be probably close to 18 inches. Now it's probably about 12.
It was 18 inches. It was. I had an 18-inch neck, believe it or not. That's pretty big for a little guy like me.
That's big. I had a 20-inch neck. That's not easy to find shirts when you got a neck like that. It sucks.
Yeah, the worst part is normally when the neck was 18 inches, the arms were like, I was swimming in them. The arms were, if I went and bought a dress shirt, I always had to have my dress shirts like special made.
Oh, yeah, you have to have them tailored down.
No, I had to have them specially made. There was a...
You know what you have to do if you have a big neck like that, you have long arms? Just start going into the lakes in Texas and start swimming because there's alligators that are being found in the lakes in Texas. So they just bite off your arms and you don't have to worry about how long the arms are.
John, I'm telling you right now, look, everyone, I don't know if you guys, most of you guys listen to this show religiously, and I thank you guys so much for that. I'm deathly afraid of sharks. But like lakes are like my safe haven, man. I'm like, I want my whole life. I've wanted just that you gave up living on a lake. And I don't have no idea why to
alligators
to run a farm of all things, right? To fucking run a farm.
No one said I was smart.
No, we knew that. We never there was never an issue with that. But I feel like lakes is my safe haven. I want to go there and enjoy just in
lakes are my safe haven.
Have
you seen what comes out of lakes at times?
It doesn't bother me. As long as it's sturgeons, all that stuff. Like, I don't care about that stuff. It's crocodiles. Now, I know you can find like bull sharks up in fresh water. They found it 1,200 miles up, some rivers in the U.S. They found it all the way into like Massachusetts, past Massachusetts, New Hampshire.
They'll find them all the way up.
Crazy, right? Crazy.
Yeah.
Look,
brackish water.
They found 3 alligators, I should say, alligators in a lake just right out here in Dallas. And then like another 15 minutes away, they found another one in a different lake. What the fuck is going on, John? Not only is our fucking government shit, our fucking lakes are being infested now.
Infested by alligators.
Alligators.
You wait, man. I bet soon there's going to be a great white shark attack in Texas.
They've found bull sharks apparently, and alligators down more closer to Houston. But I mean, we're right next door to Louisiana. It kind of makes sense. There's plenty of fucking alligators over there.
There's a lot of alligators.
A lot of alligators in Louisiana.
And the swamplands are definitely raging.
I want to
raging Cajun.
It's funny. I have friends that live in Florida. I have friends that live in Georgia, but in Florida though, they have alligators everywhere. But these guys, they jet ski and they water ski and everything in the water.
Yes,
because they say during the day the alligators aren't really in the water; they're on the sides. Yeah, they're on the sides,
sunbathing.
Yeah, they're sunbathing and hanging out.
Yeah.
Tell that to that poor lady that was playing golf. The old lady that was playing golf in Florida got snatched.
First off, if you're an old person, don't be around alligators.
But don't live in Florida then, right? Like that's you're surrounded by them. I mean,
why? Okay, what's with the fear of sharks?
What
has a shark ever done to you?
No idea, John. You know what's crazy?
Okay.
When I was a kid, I grew up at the beach. I mean, I lived 25 minutes away from Santa Cruz. We'd go to the beach every weekend because we were poor. We had no other thing to do. So we'd drive over to Santa Cruz, 25 minutes. My mom and my cousins and stuff. We spent all day there. Packed lunches. I had boogie boards. I had skin boards when they first came out. Like I spent all day. Something happened when I had kids. And I just decided that the ocean, and it was weird. I went down to Manhattan Beach. My cousin lives in Manhattan Beach. We were body surfing like pretty much like throughout the day. And all of a sudden I just started getting this really like almost anxiety. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I just started looking around the water and I
don't know what's around me.
I don't know what's around me. And then I don't know. It made me feel like when I was younger, like in Santa Cruz, the water's murky and disgusting. Like it's like brown and it's cold, but I still, when I was younger, didn't care. But as I got older, I'm swimming out, below, I can't even touch the ground anymore. I'm out there kind of a ways.
Yeah.
And didn't bother me. And then I went down to visit my cousin and we had the kids out and, and everyone was having a good time. And we were there pretty much half the day. In the middle of the day, I realized I'm like, yeah, why am I in here? I don't need to be in here. Like, what are the chances of a shark eating me? Probably very, very slim.
Very slim.
Very slim. Very slim.
Very slim.
But you know what the chances are if you never go in the water?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
There's zero.
They're on your side.
They're on my side. I mean, there's 0%. I mean, unless Sharknado comes here pretty soon. If that comes through, then we might have something.
There you go.
I might lose a foot or something in the Sharknado thing. But John, it was a weird thing. I just started getting like a little anxiety. It was kind of like right around. Let's see. My son came right around the Benson Henderson fight is when he came. So, and then Tony Ferguson, my daughter, was born 2 weeks before that. So it was like a weird, like, kind of thing. And it was right around that time, like it's almost as soon as I found out that I was having a kid, things started getting all weird. Just weird. I don't know.
Started just afraid of dying.
That's
man.
why I didn't want to have kids until I was older. It just made sense. Like, there's so much more pressure. Like, I know fighting's a very selfish sport. So I was thinking to myself,
you
know,
but
wait till you're done.
I don't know. I don't understand the fear. I guess I do. I understand the fear. My wife is like, she does not like going in the water at all. As soon as you tell her that there are alligators in Texas, that's it. She will not go in the water ever. Yeah, she is deathly afraid of them. I'm like, why?
They don't have any in Tennessee?
No.
Which is weird. I'm surprised that they haven't made their way up into there.
Yeah, no.
Oh man, It's creepy.
It's got all kinds of snakes and stuff, but no alligators. Man, I'd love to have a couple alligators.
A big ass spider in my backyard the other day. Shit was like the size of a silver.
We're gonna go with a spider.
My daughter was like, "Is that a tarantula?" I was like, "No, it's not a tarantula. It was just a really big wolf spider. It was probably, I'd say, like a good size of about a silver dollar. Yeah. It was like decent size.
I don't know, man.
Oh.
There's no reason to fear sharks. No reason to fear alligators.
Look, this is the thing. It's funny. It's because it doesn't have to kill you. And I'm not worried about being killed. I'm worried about losing a foot. And then you got to live the rest of your life not being able to like run after your kids, play catch. Like those kind of things bother me. Like I start thinking like, why? All for what? I don't have to get in the water. You know?
Hold on. Have you ever seen the ones like, you know, the guys that do the alligator shows?
Oh yeah.
Right. And then they sit there and they put their hands right. And they're like doing this. They put in their hands and all of a sudden that sumbitch snaps down and starts to do that roll.
Oh yeah.
Right. Oh, I just sit there and go, yep, fuck around and find out, bitch. It's like, I don't feel bad for him at all.
No, it's funny. I saw this guy. There's a video of this guy on YouTube. He caught a baby shark. It was only probably, I'd say like maybe 2 feet. Baby shark. And he went to like grab it or, you know, and unhook it. And the thing snatched onto his pinky and it fucking did a spiral.
It'll bite it right
spinning
off,
and ripped it. It didn't bite it off. It ripped it right off from the fucking socket.
The flesh?
Yeah, because it spun.
Yeah.
So what sharks do now to get off of a hook is they bite on the hook and they spin.
But everything is different. All kinds of sharks, the bites are different. The teeth are different.
Yeah.
You know, the it's funny because the shark that actually will take a limb faster than any other one, it's a tiger shark, because of the way if you look at their teeth, they're curved with this little point and then they're curved again with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got this whole thing, you know, and great whites are just these big, you know, triangles that come down and stuff. They do damage and they put, you know, big wounds into you. But like if you go in Hawaii, you know, surfers that get attacked and lose, you know, like the girl that lost the arm and stuff, tiger sharks.
Yeah, I heard tigers and bulls. And the bulls are the most violent. They're the ones the most aggressive.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, I'm not concerned about being aggressive, but I'm not trying to lose a foot, an arm, a hand.
I don't think anyone's trying to.
I'm not. But what?
I'm not interested in it.
Oh, because I could tell some Fred I almost caught a wave. Fuck no. Like I'm not. Let's not pretend like I can actually really surf, or you know, I can boogie board and that's great. Can body surf, all that stuff is amazing. But it's funny because I see these videos on YouTube of like people. The shark's literally right behind them on their surfboards, and they don't even realize that it's there. I understand. I get it. I know they're more shy, and they're not going to come near us. They know we're not food, but it only takes that one brave shark to be like, you know what?
It only takes that one idiot. It takes just that one kind of semi stupid shark to say, let me try it.
Not stupid, just it's the one with the big balls. He's the one like, let me just see what this happens. Let me see what happens right here.
Let me
I
see
could
what
probably
that
kick
tastes
this
like.
guy's ass. At least take his foot. And so,
all right.
Anyways,
enough of the sharks, the alligators.
I wish I had a reason on why. It just clicked in one day, and I started wondering. I'm like, why am I out here? You know, above head level in water. I can't touch the bottom. why am I out here? And I started looking around. I'm like, I can't see what's below me. You know what's funny though, John, is when I was in the Bahamas with Jen Brown and her husband Wes, I can see in the ocean. Once I put my head below, I feel great. I'm cool. I've been free diving down, 40, 50 feet. Amazing. I'm cool with that. As soon as my head came back above water, I started having like anxiety floating around just out there, that knowing that I put my head back under, I'm good.
I'll be honest. Like I've done too many shark dives. I've dived with great whites without cages and things like that. And as long as I'm down in the water, I have no fear. I don't like to be the guy who taught me how to scuba dive. His name was Leroy French, and he was attacked by a great white up in the Bay Area. And he was a photographer and stuff. And they have I watched a whole special that was on it with the guy who was with him was a guy named Giddings, who he was the first guy that actually had a theory about great whites and that, hey, if you face them, they won't attack you. And he went down with, also with one, and he's facing it and it keeps on swimming off. And, and I've done the same thing, and it's like, it's true. And then there was two, then there was three of them. He's like, I can't keep them all running. I'm out of here. Right. Boop. But, the guy who taught me. And so, he said, I go, do you have any fear of him? He goes, no, not at all. He just, he thought I was a SEAL. Yeah. He was wrong. So,
I mean, they fascinate me. That's for sure. And one thing I haven't done is I haven't done cage diving. I want to do that. I really, really want to do it, but in a cage.
Well, you start off in a cage and then you get out.
Let's just stay in the cage for a little bit. Really good.
I'll go down with you.
All right. Well, hey, there's a lot we got to talk about. We've got Bellator this weekend. We got ESPN, UFC on ESPN. We've got a lot to chat about. So let's go ahead and get started with this. And John, let's go with the UFC first. But before we start with the main event, let's go to onlyfans.com/weighing-in, onlyfans.com/weighing-in, and subscribe to us. So there, John and I, if Dave can pull up some time, we can try to get this. I want to try to do a live show with the two of us on there. So because I have a lot of fans asking to talk to you, John. So I'm trying to get the two of us on there. I know it's
everyone pissed off at me.
No one's mad at you. We all love you.
Everyone's mad at me.
We all right. All right, but we'll try. We're trying to set a time up where we can. Dave can post about it on the YouTube channel. That what time we'll be going live, and we'll try to set that up for this week sometime. Let's go ahead and go ESPN UFC Ribas versus Namajunas. Let's go. What do you think?
I think it's a fun fight. I think it's a great fight. It's at flyweight. I still like Rose at strawweight. I'm just being honest, but both of them, Ribas has fought at strawweight. She's up at the flyweight. She's a fun fighter. She's aggressive. She will go after it. We know Rose is the same thing. I think on the ground, they cancel each other out to a point. I actually think Rose might actually be a little bit niftier on the ground than Ribas, but in the stand-up, I got to give a big advantage to Rose Namajunas. I think Rose is very technically solid in her stand-up. She uses a good jab. She goes to the body, and she uses great footwork to set up her lateral movement as she comes in, throws her shots, and gets out. And Ribas is someone who when she gets hit, she wants to hit you back. And she's aggressive, and that's what's going to make this a really good, fun fight overall. And either lady can win this, no doubt about it. I just give the advantage to Rose.
All right, guys. Well, we figured it out. Big John and I are going to do a live for onlyfans.com/weighing-in today. It'll happen today, 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern Time.
West Coast 6:30, 8:30 for Central, 9:30 for the East Coast. East Coast always has to stay up late.
Yes, but
just the way it is.
It's going to be amazing, though. We have John on there with, of course, yours truly. Then the Punkamania fans are all going to come roaring through. Punkamania.
Punkamaniacs will go wild.
It'll be tonight at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, and 6:30 Pacific Time. Make sure you guys are there. Don't miss out. John, what do you think was said to her after she lost the title to Carla Esparza? Because I feel like she's lost interest in competing.
Boy,
I feel like let's just go to 125. Let's just see what happens. What is going on? Because look, you were the former champion, not once but twice. You got there's no reason for you to go up. You're right there at the number one spot. Doesn't matter.
I want you to think about this, okay? And this is what's crazy. Name me the best strawweight fighter in the women's division you've ever known, you've ever seen. Who would be the GOAT?
Probably Joanna.
Okay, Joanna. Who would be the second?
Probably Rose.
Weili.
You have Weili ahead of her?
Well, no, I'm just saying. But people, Weili is the champ right now.
Yeah, Rose got 2 wins over
she's
her,
she's a 2-time champ. And you take a look and you go, Rose beat both of them. Mm-hmm. That's who she beat to win her titles. And she beat Weili twice. Mm-hmm. And she beat Joanna twice. Yep. And you look at who she's lost to and stuff, and it's not that they're bad fighters, but I mean, she has competed with the very best. And when she does compete with the very best, man, she puts on her best performances. Her fight with Carla was just, it was a
fluke. It was one of those
stylistically, things. It's a bad matchup for both.
Yeah. Yep. Both of them, I think, had too much respect for each other. They probably both like each other. There's no ill will towards each other. It's just one of those fights that progress. Like once you start getting into that rut of no one's pulling the trigger, it continues on because no one wants to take chances. Yeah. Once the first round happens that way, second round's going to be almost guaranteed. Then it just continues to go on. But do you think there's maybe more of a ploy or more of a reasoning behind her going to 25? Maybe she wants to be a 2-division champion. Have we not considered that? Have we not thought about that? Give it some, because her and Alexa Grasso would be a fantastic fight.
It would be a really good fight. Look, she can fight with anyone. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Her fight with Manon, when you look at it and everything, there was, a couple things, but she could have won that fight. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that she did, but she could have, she just changed a couple things in that. She wins that fight. So the real question is, does she really want to be doing this anymore? Because we always say, look, if you're not 100% in, get out. And it just doesn't seem like she gets, she's energized by the fight game. It doesn't seem to be something that, that's where she wants to be. It's just something that, she's good at. I don't know.
Like we've had fighters on here before and they've talked about, look, you need to find the right fight that motivates you. She needs to find the right person that motivates her, that gets her inside that cage and gets her going. Joanna did it. Weili did it. Jessica Andrade did it. I mean, like certain fighters seem to motivate her, and she had her best performances against those fighters. She could potentially be a fighter. And I got to be honest, I've seen a lot of top level world-class fighters fight to their opponent's ability. We've seen it happen time and time again. And it's because like, why am I even in here? Like, I said this a while back, I never was offered to fight Donald Cerrone, and he's like one of the guys. And Anthony Pettis ended up becoming champion. We were supposed to fight, didn't happen. But with the Cerrone thing, I really, really wanted to fight him. He motivated me more than probably anybody else in the whole UFC roster, and he was never champion. No. Styles make matchups, and I knew the guys that I wanted to fight because I knew it would bring the best out of me. That was one, and two is I knew it'd be a fucking damn good fight. And who wouldn't want to fight somebody that's like a legend, like Cowboy? That's the thing. Like, you've got to respect what the guy's done, his list of work, what he's accomplished. I mean, everything. That was a guy that motivated me. I followed that guy from the WC, followed him to the UFC. Loved it. Like she's got to find something in that motivation. I'm hoping that it's because she wants to be a 2-division champion. Because when I look at what goes on, John, with these fights at 125, she's given up a little bit of size. Now, physically, no, but thickness wise, yes. Yeah. She, like you and I agree that she's a better fighter at 115. Fighting at 125, she's still top. I still think she's still a top 5 fighter, but she's giving up the strength and the size of these females that are actually walking around 145, 140.
I don't think she carries the pop.
No, she doesn't.
Into that upper division that she has when she's at strawweight.
Nope. And I think if she puts that weight on too much, she'll lose some of that speed, which is what she needs to keep if she's going to beat some of the bigger fighters. Yeah. So you can't, if she doesn't carry the pop and she loses the speed, she's not the same fighter anymore. So she's got to pick and choose. Keep my weight down, keep the speed where I can potentially win. And hopefully I have enough pop to hit you 2 or 3 times that it really can get you out of there. Submission wise, she's not bad. she just doesn't have the aggressiveness in the grappling department to really attack too much. And her whole game is on the feet.
Well, that's where she's had her success. Look at her 2 losses to Carla. You know, and you look and you go, really, she didn't. The second one, she didn't, get her to the ground, but it was the lack of offense by Rose to, put Carla in bad situations because she was worried about going on the ground. Mm-hmm. When you look and you go, she shouldn't have been.
No, she shouldn't have been. That's a problem when someone's fought someone so long ago and they believe that the same thing may happen, and you fought, and you're so much better now.
So much.
She wasn't even the same fighter anymore.
No.
And I don't understand where that doubt came in. Like, oh, I can't afford to get taken down. I can't, I don't want to pull the trigger. I don't want to leave myself open and vulnerable to be taken down. And if you lose one round, you lose one round. Just now you felt the strength. You felt her control on the ground. Now you know what you're dealing with for rounds 2, 3, and 4, and 5. I was fighting from behind my whole career. So I had to figure that first round was a fill-up round. Okay, he's strong. Okay, he's fast. Okay, he hits hard. You figure it out. But anyways, look, I think this is going to actually be a really good fight. Amanda Ribas, I think, is going to be a little bit more aggressive. But will she run into Rose Namajunas' power, like in terms of her shots? Can Rose stay on her bike for a full 5 rounds and make her pay? Because one thing Ribas does is when she strikes, she comes straight forward.
Yes.
There's not a lot of angles. She may create an angle here and there, but it's a lot of just aggressiveness coming
Not
forward.
much head movement. Everything is right down the center line.
Yep.
And she's looking to, do damage with her stand-up, but she leaves a lot of openings there, and Rose is the person that can take advantage of those openings.
Well, Ribas coming off of that big win. Who did she fight last? She had a very good win over someone.
That was a big win.
Yeah.
Pineo.
Pineo, she had. Oh, sorry, I was thinking of the Viviana Araujo fight, or Araujo, or what? Remember she had a really good fight. The Macy Barber fight, she lost the spinning wheel kick and punches. Yeah, the decision of Viviana. That fight was an amazing fight. God damn, 3 fights ago already. Shit, getting old.
She's busy.
That's good, but the activity. Whereas that's another thing, John. Rose is not a very active fighter right now.
No. And that's the whole point is why?
Yeah.
Because, look, she's still young.
Yeah.
She's what, 31? 31 years of age?
Geez.
Yeah.
Still prime, man. I feel like these females don't even get in their prime until they're 34, 35, 36. Yeah. They start, I don't know what it is. I say that too about, just their physical prime. They're in that physical prime around 34, 35, 36, maybe even up to 37. So who knows? We'll see. I mean, I've seen Olympic swimmers, Olympic gold medalists. They're females competing and winning gold medals at 41.
Dana Torres.
Yes.
40 years of age. Jeez. Crazy.
All right, next fight.
We have Carl Williams taking on Justin Tafa. And this is after Justin Tafa took the place of his brother just a little bit ago, and he didn't do too well in that one.
Why is he fighting so soon? He just got knocked out.
I know. Well, it was leg kicks.
Ah, that's right.
It was leg kicks.
He got hit with some big shots, though, too, in that fight.
Yep. But Carl Williams got a lot of power, but not super technical. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting. Tafa's got a good stand-up game, but he's got to figure out a way to protect that leg because everyone's going to go after it. That's just going to happen now.
When you look at certain fighters, though, that's what they do. They're plodding forward on their heavy on that lead leg, especially Tafa. You've got Tai Tuivasa, very similar to that too. Comes forward a lot, heavy on the front leg. They're loading up, getting ready to sit down on their punch. They're clearing that space so they can step in and land the hard shots. So we'll see, man. I think coming off of a loss, we've talked about this. I don't know how many times. You're not the same fighter anymore. Your confidence is not what it was, 3 weeks ago or whatever it was when he fought. It's not the same. We can sit here and say it is, but you don't believe like you believed before you took that L. So that's a shitty situation. And then Shabazian versus AJ Dobson.
Yeah. Look, man, I don't know what to say about Shabazian. He was the guy that was super talented, They pushed him fast. I thought they pushed him too fast. I thought they put him against upper tier talent like Derek Brunson and stuff before he was ready. But that's not only on the UFC. That's on his management, and that's on him, and that's what he wanted. So yeah, he's been training at Extreme Couture now is where he's doing his thing. He's been working with the PI and stuff. Dobson's a good fighter. Shabazian's got the full game. The real question is if Dobson's able to put hard shots on him. You see, it's not that Edmund's trying to get out of the fight. He just slows down his offensive output, and he slows down in the fight to the point where he becomes more of a target and he just takes more damage.
He's still young. What is he, like 25?
Oh my God. Yeah. He's got to be 26 at max.
Shabazz.
Yep.
26 at max. I mean, look at who were his 4 losses though. He lost the 4 losses were to good fighters.
Yeah.
Anthony Hernandez, obviously a stud.
Who's on a roll.
Jack Hermanson and Derek Brunson. The Derek Brunson one was the one where he just got annihilated.
Well, that was the one he was undefeated up to that point.
But he got annihilated in that fight. He got mounted, got controlled, got beat down from beginning to end. Then he went into the Jack Hermanson, then the Imavov, and then he was just taking some big punishment in those fights. The Hernandez fight took a big shot, but look, I think there's room for growth in there.
Sure there is.
26 years old. I'm not ready to wrap it up on this young man. Absolutely not. He's got technique. He's got the right mindset. He's just got to make sure that he gets back on the confidence trail. He's coming off the loss, to Hernandez. So he's just got to just be confident. But John, the next fight, Peyton Talbot versus Cameron Simon.
Yeah.
Fight of the night. Should be fight of the night.
Could be. It's Simon's from South Africa. He's fun to watch, man. He always has moments in fights where you look and you go, oh, he's starting to lose it there, and he comes right back and he sucks it back in. And Peyton Talbot is the kid that we just saw pretty recently. He's talented.
Yep,
he's talented. He kind of took it in the first round. He was having a hard time, pressure of everything that was going on. The second round, he just turned it on, came out there and showed exactly what he has. And so I think you're right. I think this is a great fight. Yeah,
I look at Simon and I think to myself, you look like a little kid.
He's
tiny. What is he, 21, 22?
Yeah,
he's 20, 21 years
young.
old.
Both of them
Cameron
are super
Simon,
young.
yeah. He looks like he's about 20, 21 years old. He's a baby. 23. But he's got plenty of room for growth. He's 9-1.
That's so young.
I know. Scroll down, Dave.
23 years of age.
Yeah.
And he's been in the UFC now for, 2 fights?
He's coming off his first loss, though, right?
What the heck is that?
What is that?
Sorry.
Come on.
I clicked on
That's all right.
Christian Rodriguez is the one that beat him.
Once again.
Yep. Christian Rodriguez, man, stud.
He's good.
So, but I mean, I look at Cameron Simon and I think to myself, he's got all the tools. He's so young. He's got to keep his back off the ground. He's got to keep his neck away from Talbot. And look, Talbot's undefeated. Cameron Simon has got 1 loss in his last fight. Does he have that same confidence? Look at that. At that age, though, John, you just don't care. You're like,
no.
I got my whole career ahead of me. You're not thinking about if I lose another one. You're not thinking you're going to lose another one.
Yeah.
Man, when I was 23, I was like, none of these fools are beating me. Shit. You guys don't have a damn chance. We used to show up in barns, of 50 dudes, and I'd be like, and everyone would be like, what weight are you? What weight are you?
The warehouse.
And everyone would just weigh each other and, okay, well, I don't have a guy that's 170 for you or 165, 168.
But I got a guy that's 220.
Got a guy who's 205 pounds. I'm like, you know what?
He hasn't trained that long.
No, I saw him fight like 3 weeks ago. He got his ass kicked. So you know what? I'll take that fight. Sure. What? You want to pay me $300 to take that fight? I'll take that fight. $300. No problem. That's how deals were done. That's how the contracts were negotiated back then.
Oh, I know.
John. But that's going to be a great fight. Billy Quarantillo versus Yusuf Zalal.
That's a good fight right there.
Yep.
I like Billy Q. He's tough. He's durable. He comes after you. He uses cardio as a weapon, and he just wears you down. Zalal, very talented, very quick, got good stand-up. I don't know if he can take the pressure of Billy Q if he doesn't get rid of him in the first round, and that's not going to be an easy thing to do.
I was thinking the same exact thing. John, is there any other fights on here that you wanted to rap about?
I wanted Kurt Holubow's, tough as hell, going up against Trey Ogden. That's actually going to be, I think, a good fight in the lightweight division. That's going to be fun to watch. But I thought Miles Johns against Cody Gibson.
That was the fight.
That's a good fight right there. Both guys are exciting. Both guys go after it. Miles Johns wrestling is probably better than Cody's, and Cody lives off of being a good grappler. So we'll see what happens.
Scrolling down, Dave. Let me see the first 4 fights. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, you have Mohammed Usman down there against Michael Parkin. Usman is he's on OF now. He's showing people how he's training and stuff. Yeah. He hasn't had, you figure for a guy who he won the Ultimate Fighter. Mm-hmm. His brother was the welterweight champion. He just has not had this the marketing behind him or any of those things that you would have expected. Because he looks like a monster.
He does.
I really like the guy.
He's still very green, though, John. You can tell by the way he still fights very wild and a little bit crazy.
Oh, yeah. He gets mad.
He's got big power. He gets mad. Those are not things.
You go, don't get mad, dude.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
And Michael Parkin, 8-0, good fighter as well. The two of these guys are just going to sit in the center of the cage and just try to get after it. Should be a good fight. But if you guys don't follow Mohammed Usman, he's on OnlyFans as well. Check him out over there, just like the rest of us. And speaking of OnlyFans, go to onlyfans.com/weighing in. Speaking of onlyfans.com/weighing in, I did 2 lives last week. I'm going to do another one this week. We're going to get John on too with me. But it's definitely been fun, man. That last week was awesome because I did them at night at around 8 o'clock Central Time. And there was just a lot more people involved. I guess they were, on there because it was nighttime. So that's when they had to close their deals. So, it's easier to go to sleep without a loaded gun. That's what I've heard. But yeah, go to onlyfans.com/weighing in. Look, we got Bellator 302 Corey Anderson versus Carl Moore. I'm John. This is in Belfast, man. And for all of you guys that don't know, this will be aired on HBO Max. Now, I thought I saw it on an MMA fighting post saying that it's not a paid platform, but I think you guys we all kind of pay.
I pay for HBO Max, so I don't know. Whoever says it's not a pay, please tell me where I'm making my mistake.
I could be mistaken though, but I thought I had saw that it wouldn't be behind a paywall is what I thought I saw. Perhaps maybe I misread it or something, but maybe it's in certain countries it won't be behind a paywall. I don't know.
Nah.
But here it will be. Lucky us. Look, this is for Corey Anderson. This is opportunity.
Josh, just as FYI, it does say in the kind of the deal release, probably press release, that there's no extra cost to subscribers to HBO Max. So maybe that's your confusion there.
That's like saying there's no added sugar, right?
It's got enough.
Yeah. It just says no added sugar. Like my son will say, "Look, see, there's no sugar." No, son. It says no added sugar. He's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. You see here where it says 43 grams?
Yeah. Right. My son's so good about like not eating. He doesn't drink any juice anymore. He doesn't do he would do like some juice here and there. Doesn't do milk anymore. He just does straight water all the time now. Every once in a while, he'll do a lemonade. He's like, like on a hot day, he'll be like, I'll do a lemonade because his sister loves lemonade. So he's like, I'll do lemonade. I'm going to have to get out there and try the Tennessee lemonade, see if it's any better than Texas lemonade. We'll see. Let's go.
Little sweet tea for you.
Corey Anderson versus Carl Moore. I got to be honest, John. To me, this is going to be a one-sided fight.
One-sided, huh?
Yep.
I will say this: Carl Moore is physically a very strong, big, tough guy, and he can take a licking. The real difference here is Corey Anderson. When Corey Anderson went to Bellator, he went back to being the Corey Anderson that started fighting in the Ultimate Fighter. As far as obviously skill wise, he was way better, but game plan wise and what he was going to do when he was trying to go up the ranks in the light heavyweights in the UFC, he was trying to get knockouts because he wanted to be exciting. He didn't use his wrestling, and it was a mistake because he got some wins, but he got some losses based upon it. where he could have used his wrestling. And look, where Corey Anderson is best, his ground and pound. We talk about it all the time. Ground and pound is an absolute skill set that some people have and some people don't. Corey Anderson has unbelievable ground and pound. He hurts you when he's on top of you. He's got great control. You do not get up from him. And if Carl Moore ends up underneath him in this fight, look out. He's going to have nothing but problems. And I agree with you. I think Corey Anderson is a big favorite in this fight. He just has too much experience, too much skill, and his ground and pound in wrestling are just going to be very difficult for Carl Moore to stop.
You said all the things that I was going to say, but you left out one major one, was just the cardio.
Yeah.
Carl Moore.
That's why it's called overtime.
Yeah. They call him overtime for a reason, man. He's got a gas tank, and this is a 5-round fight for the title. So I can see this. I can see this basically going down to after round 1.5, round 2. I see it really being Corey Anderson's fight, because we've seen Carl Moore have some back and forth battles to the point of just exhaustion. And if you think
Carl, when he fought King Carl,
yep.
Carl Albrechtsen.
Yep. Great fight, back and forth battle, great fight.
Absolutely. Beautiful fight. But the real thing, and this is what I believe is going to have to happen for Carl to stop a lot of what Corey does. He can stop a lot of it because he's, like I said, physically, he's very strong. He's an athlete. He's a stud, but he's got to use that power to try to stop the technique that Corey Anderson has. And he's going to get tired doing it.
What you want to do if you're somebody that you know you're physically not as strong, like Corey Anderson's physically probably not going to be as strong as Carl Moore, but what he can do is grind on him, hang on him, press him to the fence, keep changing directions in the footwork.
Make him work.
When it comes to the wrestling, make him work, keep him off balance, and be all the way out or all the way in when you are on your feet standing toe to toe. You can't be all the way in and not letting something go or try to close that distance and get to the clinch, get on the single or the double, whatever it is. But I think if this fight hits the ground early, it's going to be very bad for Carl Moore. Corey Anderson's able to get that takedown in the first 1.5, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes. It's going to be just a lot of damage in that first round from the top position.
Especially with Corey Anderson with elbows.
Yeah.
Look, elbows make a huge difference. And to stop them is not easy when someone knows how to throw them the right way. Someone that leverages off, pushes on the head, snaps the elbow down. Corey Anderson does all that.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but this, in my opinion, should be a very good night for Corey Anderson.
Featherweight titles on the line. Patricio Pitbull Fajeda versus Jeremy Kennedy.
Tell me what you think.
Look, everyone knows.
Come on, you're starting to waver.
Everyone knows I'm a huge Patricio fan. I'm a huge fan. The unknown right now is really where I'm at. Yeah. How is he after his neck surgery? That's one.
How is he after 2 losses?
How is he after 2 losses? And one of them being the first knockout loss of his career. So you mix
now it was at 155.
Yeah, but still.
And it was on less than 2 days notice. So he didn't train for it.
No. But John, we've seen Jeremy Kennedy in there with Aaron Pico, who is probably the best wrestler in the sport right now in terms of, accolades. And, I think he's a better wrestler than Bo Nickel. If I was to compare him against anybody else, who could I compare?
Well, his ability,
who would be the best?
It's not only his ability to wrestle, it's his ability to wrestle now in MMA.
This is very true. He's putting it together with his boxing and kicking as well as his knees and his elbows and now becoming a full MMA fighter is Aaron Pico. But Patricio, outside of Jeremy Kennedy making a mistake, Jeremy Kennedy is going to try to bully him around. I saw the face-off today. First time they faced off, he's a good head above him. Now, you already know, as well as I know, Patricio's been dealing with that his whole career. Everyone's bigger than him.
Sure.
Everyone. But when I've trained with him and rolled with him and just kind of like tussled around with him, he's physically very, very strong. Very strong for a 45-pounder. And just understanding that he's not going to be someone you can just move around. Now, Jeremy Kennedy will be able to probably lift him and take him down. That's how the takedowns will have to happen. But when he gets down, will he be able to hold him down? Because Patricio is so, he's like a small little ball. And the hardest guys to hold down are those compacted guys that can just put the feet on the hips, kick you away and get back to their feet. or dig an underhook and just stand right up with you on them. That's what he's really good at. And if you put your head in the wrong position, he will take your neck. There's just no doubt. He will take it. That Army guillotine will be there the whole night. Now, I know Jeremy Kennedy trains with Patchy Mix. He trains with other like top-level guys that are just as good, if not better, than Patricio on the ground. But there's certain moves that guys have that are just, that's their money move. And I look at Patricio and his arm and guillotines, his money move. He can hit that thing from anywhere, and he will try to hit it from anywhere. He just locks it in, and he doesn't hesitate. And he puts it on, and once he puts it on, it's good night, Irene. Good night.
No, you're absolutely right. All of your concerns are what my concerns are. Let's just be honest. Patricio has been just an amazing fighter throughout his career. He's had an amazing career. Taking a fight on 2 days' notice in Japan just because you like to fight in Japan is crazy.
Yeah.
And he paid for it. He paid for it. He wasn't prepared. There's a difference in timing and those things. And I think that was part of it. Going down to 135 pounds to try to be a 3-division champion. I hate when guys try to lose weight. We talk about it all the time. And I think that, you don't give enough respect to the fact that getting smaller doesn't make you better. It makes you usually a guy who's slower facing a faster guy. And that's what he did. And that's what happened when he went up against Pettis, is he faced a faster guy who just basically was too fast for him and pieced him up. And you take a look, and Jeremy Kennedy has certain attributes here where if he can be successful in that takedown, and it's exactly what you're saying, push him against the cage, get into a body lock situation, you are so tall compared to him that you can suck him. If you can suck his hips in, his toes are going to start leaving the ground, and you can bring him one way or the other, whichever way you wish, get into a high crotch, whatever it's going to be. If you want to shoot down to the single, that's your way of bringing him down. Jeremy Kennedy can keep him on the ground. He's got that skill set.
Yeah, he does. He does. And I think the size, he will pressure him to the fence. He will hang on him. He will try to drag this. This is a title fight, so it's 5 rounds. He will try to drag this into the 3rd and 4th round and try and slow Patricio down. Patricio is someone who he's always been able to dictate the pace of the fight because of his punching power.
Yep.
And in this fight, I think Jeremy Kennedy is just going to be, he's going to be that John Fitch. He's going to be that Jake Shields. He's going to be that guy that doesn't give you enough space to control the tempo of the fight. He's going to be the one trying to control the tempo of the fight. We've had Eric Nixick on here. I've talked to so many other fighters that come out of Extreme Good Tours, and they said how good Jeremy Kennedy is. And this is kind of like his moment to shine. He's ready to try to take that next step, become the champ, and be the leader of this division. We're going to find out.
Yeah,
we're going to find
that's exactly it. He's had those moments in the past where he just did not perform well. And then he had the fight with Aaron Pico. And I can't take anything away from Jeremy Kennedy in that fight. People take things away from say, oh, well, Pico hurt it, it's dislocated his shoulder. No. Hey, don't take that away from Jeremy Kennedy. He was prepared to fight. And in that first round, he was all over him. Yes, he was all over a one-arm guy. That doesn't matter. He was doing what he was supposed to do to win the fight. So I look at this and I think, is this the moment where you get that, well, there's a changing of, the king.
Mm-hmm.
And this could be it because Jeremy Kennedy is in that position. He's been with Bellator long enough. He understands how to fight this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the best position I've seen anyone in since I thought AJ McKee was in the best position to beat Patricio when they fought the first time.
Yep.
And this is the second time I would say this is a great position to be in.
I agree. Fabian Edwards versus Aaron Jeffrey. Great fight.
Man, a great fight. People do not give Aaron Jeffrey enough credit for how good he is.
It's the mustache, man. It takes it away from all of his great
mullet.
work he does.
It's the mullet.
That might be the mullet, too. The mullet and the mustache, both of them.
The mullet fucking does it. But I'm telling you right now, Aaron Jeffries, if he is in any way capable of getting Fabian Edwards to the ground, and I know he can, stand by. Fabian Edwards is going to have a hard time. On the feet, Fabian Edwards is probably the faster, smoother technician. He's got good power. Jeffries got good power. But on the ground, and we've seen people give Fabian Edwards problems when he's on his back.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that he's bad. He does a good job of defending himself, but he's going to have a fight at a very difficult place to be with Aaron Jeffries. So I look at this and then the fact that 3 rounds, Aaron Jeffries is going to be all up into Fabian Edwards. He's going to be pressing that action. He's going to be trying to crush the space to keep Fabian from being able to kick. It's a question of, can Fabian make those kicks land and keep that distance there for him to be successful?
Yeah, Aaron Jeffries can't afford to fight him on the outside. Let the speed of Fabian get to him. Let the reach probably in the range get to him with the kicks and the long range punching and the lateral movement. He's going to have to cut him off. He's going to have to press him to the fence, look to get the control and the takedowns. But the one takeaway that I can see from Leon Edwards and what he's been successful at, Fabian's also been successful at learning how to defend the takedowns against the fence. So Aaron Jeffries is going to have to chain wrestle this to death to try to get this thing to the ground, and not only chain wrestle it, but don't rely on the fence to get this takedown. He's going to have to do some work in the clinch, the knees, like he did against Austin Vanderford. Stuff a takedown or get a takedown. If it's not working, go back up to doing damage with the elbows and the knees, and then drop back down on the leg or something along those lines to try to get the finish or get the fight to the ground. James Gallagher versus Leandro Higo. I love this fight.
I do like this fight. I think it's a good fight. And I like Leandro Higo. I think he's just a tough guy who comes out to bomb. But I'm going to be honest, he makes big mistakes, and those mistakes lead to his downfall. James Gallagher is a lot better fighter than people give him credit for. And when I say that, he's grown. Okay, he's not the guy that people remember from 5 years ago. He is now a man. He's actually doing the smart things. His stand-up has gotten way better. His ground game is a lot better than people give him credit for. I think they kind of neutralize each other to a point on the ground, but Higo doesn't tend to get top position very often. He does if he lands a good shot because he's got heavy hands. He could do that with Gallagher, but I see Gallagher actually having the better ability to take Higo down than Higo taking Gallagher down.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be the difference in the fight.
I've grappled with Higo. Followed James Gallagher since the time he first came into Bellator, talked with Patchy Mix about James Gallagher's grappling, how good it is. Even Mix was like, I way underestimated how good he was on the ground. He's way better than I thought. Physically, he was a little bit stronger than I thought. Just the positioning of his guillotines and his positioning on the submissions were better than I thought.
He had a tight one on him at one time. Yeah. You're right.
He did. And so, but I've trained with Leandro Higo, but look for Leandro Higo, maybe if he is on bottom, to try to attack ankle locks. He's really aggressive with the ankle lock position. He's got a good arm and guillotine like all the other Pitbull brothers do. Okay. And that's something they really work on, is that arm and guillotine. Can he finish James Gallagher with the arm and guillotine? I don't know. I'm not sure. But on the feet, James is good. Higo is someone that can take a shot, though, and keep coming. We saw that against Sean Bunch when he took a lot of Sean Bunch's clean shots.
Boy, he did. Yeah. Sean Bunch was piecing him up for a while.
Yeah, for the whole 2.5 rounds, and then got caught in the third. Great. It was that. I think that we're going to see something very similar to that fight. James Gallagher can't afford to make a mistake. I think you're going to see Higo walking him down, trying to land leg kicks and big shots, and James Gallagher stay on his bike, moving to the outside, and landing the long punches, long kicks. And if it gets too close, he may try to shoot it on the takedown and get to the top position. Because James on top, I don't think the ground and pound is there, but the threat of getting to a guillotine will be there. Because if
he's very good at taking the back, though.
He is. This is true.
Slick.
I just after training with Higo, I don't see him really giving the back. He's more of a.
And this is the problem that I say with my whole thing with Leandro is he makes big decisions and big mistakes in the fight.
This is true.
That lead him down the path to where now he loses. And you just take a look at, he'll do things at times, and he's done it, over and over in different fights where I can point out why did you make that decision at this moment, when there was no reason for it. But that's he's going for it, so I can't complain about that part of it. But you can't make a lot of mistakes against good fighters.
No, I understand that. I just look for this fight to be either a good grappling match between the two or a good stand-up fight between the two. It's going to come down to a chess match, I think. There's a lot of honorable mentions in here. Tim Wilde is a very fun fighter. I don't know who Manuel
he's gotten so much better.
Who is Manuel Sosa?
Manuel Sosa, very good fighter. He's got a good ground, good stand-up. Mm-hmm. I think he might underestimate Tim Wilde's stand-up, and does not want to be in a stand-up war with Tim Wilde Tim Wilde has gotten so good since going to Renegade.
Yeah.
And he has been on a tear. His defensive wrestling is fantastic, and his stand-up has been sharp, and he's just been a damn sniper. So Souse is good. He is good, and that's why he's unbeaten, but that is not an O that cannot go against Tim Wilde.
Young Buck, Kieran Clark, always fun to watch. Mainly all grappling. He's got really no stand-up, but man, he can take a shot. He can take a lot of damage. He's a dog. He will be there in the third. He's finished fights where he was losing both first round, second round, and he did majority of the third, and ended up getting the submission with like a minute or two left on the clock and made the crowd go nuts. He is a fun fighter to watch. He's very young, very green, but he's 8-0. He's an honorable mention. You guys keep an eye out on him. Alfie Davis was supposed to fight Tawfiq Mosaev. That fight fell through. Tawfiq ended
Too bad.
He's out for some reason, but this is the fight that I'm excited about. Luke Trainer versus Grant Neal. Sean, the reach and the range of Luke Trainer.
Oh, that's a problem.
That's going to be a problem a little bit for Grant Neal. But if this fight hits the ground where Grant Neal's on top, Grant Neal's got some nasty, vicious ground and pound.
No, he does, and he's got a very good base, and he can keep Luke Trainer on his back. But Luke is a guy, Luke is 6'5" to 6'6", and he's going to have about an 80 to 81 inch reach, where Grant Neal is going to have about a 72 inch reach.
Yeah.
It's going to be a huge difference in that. And Luke Trainer he's good on his feet. He is good on the ground. Now he's always much better in the top position. And Grant Neal is going to be very difficult for him to take down. He's just a compact body, but Grant Neal is just tough as hell. Has power. Luke Trainer, great matchup. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, not Luke, but Grant's going to have to be very cautious of the wrist control. He can't allow for Luke Trainer to grab wrist control. He's got big hands. He's got long legs, long limbs. That's how you start getting caught into triangles. That's how you start getting hit into omoplatas and reversed and end up on bottom. And having somebody with that amount of leverage, when I used to train and grapple with Luke Rockhold, didn't matter. I'd get underneath and just start trying to sweep, and he could just, like a spider or an octopus, just put his arm out and just base out no matter where it was. Put his leg out. I was like, this son of a bitch, I can't get you off of me, man. But when I look at, that's kind of what's going to happen with Grant Neal. He can't afford to be on bottom. If he feels like he's losing a position at all, he's got to just back out, let it kind of get back up to the feet, or back out and re-enter, so he can get rid of the wrist control. But I think that wrist control is going to be a big benefit for Luke Trainer if he's on his back, to make sure he's not taking a lot of damage, start threatening the submissions, whether it's triangle, arm bars, omoplatas, sweeps, whatever it is. It all starts with that wrist control by Luke Trainer. But Grant Neal is going to have the ground and pound to let it all fly. All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our Bellator talk. And Dave, what else you got for us, buddy?
Anything you want to say on the deal that they did with HBO Max?
Can you read it to me? What is it? Following a historic acquisition of Bellator Professional Fight League, PFL is proud to partner with Warner Brothers Discovery for the highly anticipated Bellator Championship Series to stream exclusively on Max for fans across the United States and no extra cost to subscribers when the global franchise launches on March 22nd. PFL CEO Peter Murray was quoted in a press release earlier today. We're excited for audience to tune into Bellator's new home on Max for 8 Bellator Championship Series events in 2024, taking place in iconic cities around the globe, featuring world title fights and the biggest stars in the combat sports. He continues, there's an incredible demand for premium year-round MMA content for major media platforms, and this is the latest milestone in PFL's ambition to bring the sport's best to audiences around the globe. In addition to Bellator's deal with Max, the company also announced their full event schedule for 2024. It reads as is. It is March 22nd, which will be in Belfast, 1 p.m. Eastern Championships Series. May 17th. God, that's a big jump. March, April, May. So you go May 17th, Champion Series in Paris, the Accor Arena. That's a great arena, by the way. And the fans
Accor Arena?
Yeah, Accor Arena. The fans there are absolutely amazing. June 22nd, Championship Series in Dublin, 3 Arena. September 7th, Champion Series in San Diego, Pachango Arena. So that's September. Jeez, June to September, June.
Yeah, but then 1 week later, they're in London at the Wembley.
Yeah, 1 week later, so you have September 14th, Champion Series, London, OVO, Wembley Stadium. And then October 12th, Championship Series in Chicago at the Wintrust Arena. And then you have November 16th, the Championship Series in Paris at Adidas Arena. And then you have the December 31st Championship Series, which is to be determined. It said, oh, the rest of the year of 2024 schedule is released. Well, apparently it's not. December 31st. Jeez, why on New Year's?
Saitama Super Arena.
Yeah, I bet they're buzzing about something like that.
Yeah.
We'll find out. We'll find out. Is there anything else? Look, I'm glad that it's on a network. That's number one. I'm glad that it's not just on YouTube. I'm glad it's not just like on a streaming service or a platform. I would have thought that maybe they would have done some sort of a deal with DAZN because they already have that kind of in working with them in their European stuff for boxing and kind of working with the relationship is there, I should say. Just leave it at that. I thought they would have maybe done that. DAZN would have probably paid for something like that too, to give them a little extra money. But HBO Max will do. I mean, if people already have it, the problem that I see, John, and we've always seen, it's behind a $10 paywall.
Yep.
You're not getting your fighters the match. And we had that problem with Showtime.
Oh, yeah.
We hated the fact that when we said we were going back to Showtime, you, me, everyone that worked for Showtime went, not Showtime. Everyone that worked for Bellator was like, we were just wondering why. Why?
Well, because it's as simple as this. And it comes down to when you look at what you want, look at the UFC and look at where they're at. They're on ESPN pay-per-view. How many homes is ESPN available to? So if you say that ESPN is available to, we'll say 150 million homes, okay? That means that 150 million people can tune in to your show on the night that it is. If you go and you say, all right, we're going to go to Showtime, and Showtime has a subscription of 25 million, well, you just missed out on 125 million right there. And how many of the 25 million are going to be tuning in? Yeah. You're just cutting your numbers down to where you're not able to put your fighters in the best position for them to be seen and people to see how special they are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really what it is.
Yeah, I think the Showtime thing came about because there was nostalgia from the guys that were at the top with the Strikeforce situation. They wanted to see if they could repeat it, and they just couldn't. The TV industry was a completely different industry then in comparison to now. Yeah, and we've seen that across the board for everyone. Now, everyone's like, oh, well, the UFC's on on a paid platform. They're on the biggest sports platform there is. That's why.
Same with PFL.
And so
way to go.
But look at the numbers. They have spent their time to build their brand. The UFC has. They've done a great job at doing it. Their marketing is second to probably the NFL. They're equal.
Look, you got to be honest about what the UFC did and how they did it, because for a while they weren't on TV. Okay, and it was all pay-per-view. Then they got kicked off of pay-per-view, and there was nothing, and so it was just tapes. But finally, when the UFC started coming back around, you had them. They did the deal with Spike TV, which worked. It worked really well. In fact, it went to the point where Spike wanted to re-sign them, but the UFC went with Fox for less money. Based upon, we believe this is going to expand our brand more. And they were right.
They were. Absolutely.
And then the whole thing with Fox was going to pay, they wanted to pay more money, but where was the better place? As soon as John Skipper left ESPN, where was the better place for the UFC to be? It was on ESPN, and they went there. Smart. That's to expand their brand.
If you want to be considered a true sport, you have to end up showing face on ESPN.
Yeah.
I just like they were the ones that were taking the sport of MMA to the next level. And so what they felt was the best place for them to go to show everyone this is the true sport was to be on ESPN. Now, when you flip through, it's on the ticker on the bottom. So-and-so pulled out of a fight. So-and-so made weight. So-and-so is fighting so-and-so for the world title. That is something that every fighter in their mind has dreamt about. Is, seeing their name across the bottom of the ticker. I can't tell you when I fought Benson. It's the AFC and the NFC championship game, and I'm on their ad reads right in the middle of the game, to fight
and
Benson.
You went, hey,
and I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. And so those are things that I think that has something to do with the way fighters present themselves, because that's building their brand.
Sure.
What the UFC has done with that. And I think with Bellator, what happened was they decided to go back to Showtime, which I didn't understand, because I felt like and maybe I'm wrong, the hands down best place after Spike, it kind of folded up and went to Paramount, and then Paramount went to whatever it was and all that. The best thing for Bellator would have been, it was for us to stay on Thursday nights on CBS Sports.
CBS Sports. Yep.
At least you knew when people went there, they were looking for sports. At least you knew that it was accessible to everybody pretty much with CBS Sports. And the other thing, never were you ever competing with the UFC. It was always Thursday night. And it was going to be every Thursday night, or every other Thursday night was an offer, I guess, apparently. Could have been every other Thursday night. And we could have been seen, and we could have, for everyone, fighters could have came in on Sunday or Monday, left and been home by Friday, spend the time of the weekend with their family, like all of these things. It just made sense to do it Thursday night. Even if you're talking about when you compete during the busiest time of the year, which is the NFL season, Thursday night football is trash. Everyone knows it. It's always been trash. You get the worst games because the players are still recovering from the Sunday game that they played. And the NFL always puts the worst teams together on Thursday night. That's why when they did the deal with Amazon Prime goes, no, you guys, if we're going to re-sign for the second year, you guys need to actually do a better job of giving us better matches, better games. Yeah. And so I felt like that was the perfect opportunity for Bellator to grow, was to be on CBS Sports at that time on a Thursday night. It worked out perfectly for us because
it doesn't matter what we think.
Nah, it's way above our pay grade. Way above our pay grade. But I like to sit here behind this microphone and just pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
That's it.
All right, guys. Hey, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. But go to WayneandMerch.com, pick up some of our short sleeves, long sleeves, hoodies, and sweatshirts.
There you go.
Yes, sweatshirts. Got it.
Nice. Very nice.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this show. And I know we kind of rambled on a little bit in the beginning about alligators and crocodiles,
and sharks.
And surfboards and losing a foot and all the other things.
Mud suckers and turd sharks.
Yeah, I loved it, man. It was awesome. But John, go ahead and take us away, buddy.
Everyone, thank you for tuning in. We will see you.